I did this project for a client and built it 100% using AI. And I kind of wanted to make a follow-up to this to add some enhancing features. So this isn't something which the client has asked for, but it is something which I've done for someone else, and I thought that it would be quite useful for this. So it's a Telegram bot where you can basically get automated sort of onboarding support or answering questions, and then it answers based on a knowledge base, and it will also answer using AI. See, like that. And I can say, I want to speak to a human. And it understands that query, and then it gives me the option to start a priority chat, which would be a chat with an actual person. So I want to show you how we would set that up, and I'm going to try and just do this start to finish really quickly. And I haven't got anything set up. I know how it works, so I'm going to sort of just run through it. So I'm going to start in ChatGPT. I want to create a Node.js project that will be hosted on Railway. The aim is to have a Telegram bot which links to OpenAI using the 4.0 model. And the goal is to have it answer questions about a service, and if someone asks to speak to a person, then it should give them the option to have a priority chat where it will link to another Telegram chat. I want you to give me a project brief for this. I'm just going to copy this. In reality, you would want to refine this so that the knowledge base is up to date. So create a Telegram about the services, provides immediate info, bot framework, Node Telegram, .env for secure tokens and chat IDs. How fast can you recover my car? So this is pretty good. I'm just going to copy and paste this and say, help me set this up. So this will go through, think about it. It's good to use Claude 4 Sonnet for this kind of thing. So cursor is finished. It doesn't set up the env. I'm going to do that here. Just going to delete all of this. I'm going to add in the variables for Telegram and OpenAI. You get the Telegram bot from Botfather, and the OpenAI API key is just from their site. So I've added my environment variables, and I'm going to just say run the commands. Then we can actually test it working in Telegram. So it's going to run npm install. So it's now saying that it's up and running. So you can see straight away, welcome to Accident Assist, your 24/7 support. So I'm going to say learn about services, vehicle recovery, request recovery now. It's been sent to our team. Our team will call you within 5 minutes. Your reference. For immediate assistance, you can also call this. So this isn't exactly how it would work, so I'm just going to make a few changes. On the request assistance message, there should be an inline button which links to another Telegram chat. I'm going to give you a username to use for it. The other thing that I want to add is that the commands should be under set my commands, which just makes them show up in this area so that you can sort of see what commands are available, and it almost acts like a menu. So the contact support agent should now speak to a human, error, emergency help, error on all of these. We'll see, let it finish this and try again. So I can see that I keep getting this error processing your request. So I'm just going to tell it if I click discuss repairs. And I think I also see that so also there's no button on this message. So any issues just as you're going through, you just kind of tell it. Any tweaks that you'd need to make, obviously this information in here, user doesn't seem to exist, maybe the URL's wrong. So in this scenario, for example, it says, tell me your current location, vehicle registration number, blah, blah, blah. That isn't what we want it to do because we can't really give it information here. It's not gonna know, like this information is not going anywhere unless we set it up to do that. And for example, in this case, say we have the website and the website has a form which is trying to get this vehicle request information. It'd be better if we just sent someone there. So now it's saying it's restarted the bot. Let's see. So request a vehicle, emergency request. Now it's got the numbers in here. Contact support agent, that would go to the link if the URL was valid. So it should be t.me / the username. So that link won't work right now, but priority chat support. So it's kind of getting the flow wrong. So I'm going to just tell it this. In this chat, the only goal is to provide answers to questions or signpost the user to either the website for the request a vehicle form or to priority support where it forwards to the other Telegram link or the phone number. We shouldn't be requesting any information from the user in this chat because we're not storing this information at all. The goal is just to help the user and then signpost them to the relevant place. So I'm going to say change the wording. And I'm going to give it a URL to use. Use t.me /. I'm just going to feed it some more information for the knowledge base and say, include this info for the knowledge base. When you're in Cursor, you can just add more stuff into this queue. Every message you send, it's going to sort of complete this one and then move on to the next one. So it works quite easy to use, you know. I'm just going to add in the service information. This is the service information. I'm going to see if this link works. Yeah, so that link works. So that button should work now. The other thing with this is that Telegram makes it easy to set up bots. I think this is a little bit more tricky to do with WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, but they may be better platforms that people have adopted more than Telegram. I think in most people's cases, they may need to download Telegram to use this, whereas a lot more people probably have WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger on their phone already. So I feel like having a native website widget would also be a good addition to this. So I'm going to test out these changes that it's made. This is the set my commands thing. So now you can kind of see there's a menu. So look, this is all the available commands: start, menu, and help. This is what it helps with. You can ask it questions saying, what documents do I need? It's a bit slow, it doesn't really seem to reply. I sent a message asking what docs do I need. It didn't really seem to reply to a text message. Can you make sure that it will log that and respond according to the knowledge base? Just add that in. So see now, it's got this form. This is the chat. It's got a phone number. So I'm going to say, because I notice here, it's sort of, if you do on a Mac, Command Shift 4, drag what you're doing, and before you let go of the mouse, hold Control, it just copies it to the clipboard. I think you can also click Command, Control, Shift and 4 and it will do the same thing. You can just paste with Command V. So I'm going to say to here, it looks like the text has the asterisk characters, but it's not actually displaying as bold. So when I'm doing this, I'll just put in every single issue that I can see, like one after one. So like for example, that is sort of covered by the last message. And we can see here that it answers the questions with the FAQs, but right now I would probably say it's not really using any OpenAI functionality. It's just basing this off of sort of a fixed response. You can kind of tell because it's really fast. Normally when you ask it a question, it would take a little bit of time. So now it's updating the OpenAI system prompt to reflect this detailed service information. And now the next one in the queue saying, what docs do I need? It didn't seem to reply to a text message. This should fix the response part of it. So it seems to do this always, this markdown pass mode. It will try and make the messages as markdown, but unless it sets that mode, you basically see the asterisks. And I can see here that it did actually reply to this message, it just took a little bit of time. So now it's saying instead of seeing the asterisks, you'll just see it in bold, which we can check. Not really seeing that. So before it showed like that, immediate vehicle access. Now it doesn't show the asterisks, but it's not bold. Now you don't see the asterisk, but the text is not bold. And I'd also like to test the response it gives you from ChatGPT. So I'm going to say, what locations do you cover? It took about 6-7 seconds to reply there. So our services are trusted across the UK, blah, blah, blah. For detailed information or to request our services, use the contact form here. So you can see here that the formatting on that's a little bit messed up. The formatting of this message, the way it displays the URL when I pass it a question and it responds with text, the way that the link is displayed is not being passed as Markdown properly. It seems like you still see the URL. This is what it's like when you're doing this vibe coding stuff. It's a bit of back and forth figuring out the problems, but I've been doing this for half an hour. Within half an hour, you've got a nearly up together bot, and you could do quite a lot of stuff with this. So for example, like the other one, I set up a separate dashboard that lets you see what questions people ask, what questions they've asked when they've clicked through to the link, how many people actually click the request form. You know, we could do a lot more with tracking where the leads have come from and have they come from this bot. So there is a lot that you could do with this. I think personally the point in having this is to be able to respond to someone in 10 seconds rather than them having to wait 10 minutes or an hour or even overnight. So for example, it's trying to do tap to copy, which we're not interested in. Don't think that's what we want. So we want to reply to people quickly, and if it's a business that you're running ads on, for example, and you're dealing with hundreds or thousands of leads, then you don't want to have to manually reply to every person in a lot of cases, or at least signpost them to the right place. I mean, answering basic questions, putting people to a human if they need to. A lot of people may have their questions answered by the bot and not even need to speak to a person, so it just saves time. So this is from the start. It's saying that the bold text formatting is fixed. Let's see. Doesn't look fixed. That's bold there actually. So it is bold there. I could just tell it to use it on the title of every message. I can see you need immediate help. Here are your options. I'm going to try and say I need to speak to a human and see if it recognizes that message. It should give me contact options. It may have just restarted there, so I'll try that again. I'm having trouble. See, it doesn't really get that one. So I'm going to say, if the message mentions something like speak to a person or get priority support, speak to a human, don't want to speak to a robot, it should respond with a predefined message about the contact options. It should understand that language and use that to provide a better response. I find that most chatbots don't seem to do that very well, but it does definitely work. You can see here, I want to speak to a human, and it does this straight away. It understands that that should be going to the chat. So let's just see what it does there. So we've now got the bold text showing up, and I'm just going to say
add more bold formatting to the different messages to just add nice formatting to it.
So there it said it found the issue. It hit some error. Can't pass entities or find the entity. Markdown passing issue. The bot is trying to pass this as markdown, but it's not properly formatted as a markdown link. So it's probably just going to fix that. It's adding a few words there for escalation. So real person, staff, don't want to speak to a robot, not a robot, need a person, want a person, actual person, live person. So loads of different ways you could say, I don't want to speak to a bot, and it's going to acknowledge that. So it's now saying that it's done. I'm just going to try the same message. I can see you need immediate assistance. Let me get you connected. Sends 2 messages there. See that? It's not really what we want it to do.
This seems to send a duplicate message. We only want to send a message with the inline buttons.
So I've said that the phone number should be a URL that you can click, not a number to copy. Just going to add that and let it finish all of these tasks. Now it looks like everything is running. It's got a lot more bold stuff in the formatting, so like the header there. I'm going to try this request, vehicle request form. That opens up the page with the form. This is what we'd want them to fill out. You've got the priority chat support, which would open another chat. This thing, the call number, still isn't right, but it seems like it answers questions. Doesn't seem to get the formatting right on there. So I'm going to say
format is still wrong on some of these messages, for example.
When you make these, you have to just go through it and test all of it. Same on that and there. Just add that in. The call number is not right. Don't know if you can even do that in Telegram and have a tel number. I'm going to try it on my phone and see what it does. Yeah, so it does nothing on my phone as well. So the formatting on there is right now. All good. The only issue I can see is this phone thing. And I'm just going to say, that took about 8 or 9 seconds. So this is pretty aligned with the information on the website. So we can see the contact options, the request form. I would say that the phone number thing should be here as well, just because it isn't useful to the user. I'm just going to say, in this case, priority support should be the same as if I said
Speak to a person.
what is that? Speak to human. So it seems that it's got an issue there. I'm just going to combine this.
If I ask to speak to a person, I'm getting this issue where it says there's a temporary problem.
And the other issue is like this response.
The next issue is on the response where it uses AI. It's like included the phone number as text and it has a link for priority support. I feel like that callback function should be the same thing as if you say speak to a human. So it should just say something like get support and then it should respond with the same thing as if you said speak to a person, and then it kind of covers all possibilities if someone manually asks a question.
But, okay, we just don't want it to say this.
When you ask to speak to a person, that first line that says priority response activated should be removed. We do not need that.
And then what is it saying about the phone number? Pop up with copyable number. I just don't understand what that is. Like, first of all, that doesn't copy the number. There is no pop-up.
Can you explain why this option with the tell link should not be used? Because usually that's how you would make a link go to a phone number, right? But you're saying use a pop-up with a copyable number, but the way you've implemented it isn't copied and there is no pop-up. So the way you've done it in a minute is not viable at all. And it should just be a clickable phone number button that opens the phone. Or it should just be removed.
So this thing is kind of getting to a point where it doesn't really seem to get it. And I'm not really sure if it even works in Telegram. A clickable phone number. I'm going to try and do a number. I think that's a phone number. See how that's... See how anything I write, it just says that now. So the tail links are a standard way to make phone numbers. It's just showing an alert pop-up. This is a much worse user experience. What's the actual problem?
Emergency request button doesn't work, it does nothing. Speak to a human button doesn't work, it shows this.
So it doesn't support the tell URLs. I need to remove that button and just include the phone number as text. Because I feel like if the phone number is just text, so say that number that I put in there, I'm going to see what that does on my phone. So on my phone, it shows like that. I don't know if that's flipped around or not, but it says you can call it via carrier. So if I click that, it calls it like this, which is fine. So now I'm going to let it restart the bot and it should be working.
Something's really messed up here. So if I ask, speak to a human, it understands it does the right message. But now if I ask it a question that isn't that, it gives me the same response, but also says thanks for your question, I can help connect you with the right support, which isn't what we asked to do. We wanted the AI responses for those questions based on the knowledge base. So that needs to be put back to how it was.
So let's see if this works now. There we go. So now we've got this working to a usable standard, I'd say. It helps signpost people to the right place if they come onto this chat, say from social media or an ad, or even from the website like live chat. It helps guide them into the right place. They could find that information first. They can ask a question or they can say speak to a human. And the good thing with this is you can put this in multiple languages, especially if it's an online business that deals with different areas. And you could have a chat support based on what language someone was asking for it in. I feel like there's a lot you can do with this. Using it purely as onboarding, answering FAQs, being able to just give quick responses. It's very simple and straightforward. I think that this approach is better than some of these like drag and drop builders, just because this has a bit more of a granular approach in that you can customize every single thing that it does. You can kind of see that it's a little bit of back and forth with cursor, just because, for example, I didn't realize you couldn't use a tel link. It's TEL link that normally opens a phone number, sort of like what it does on a website. I didn't realize that wouldn't work in Telegram, so what I could probably do is get it to do this link or this phone number text without spaces, since that would probably make it show as a phone number. So see, if I send it like that, it's not a phone number. But if I send it like that, it's not a phone number still, maybe because it's bold. So no, maybe it's not the right amount of numbers. Don't know. See there, if I added one more number, it's now a phone number. Okay, so right now it kind of works as you'd expect, and you can just get quick information from this. Learn about the services, find out if it is what you need, get in touch, speak to the right person, get questions answered by AI based on the information from the website. This is a potential time save for people. I'm going to put this forward to the client for the website and just see what they think, because it would be good to understand what their objections are to having something like this. I would anticipate it's probably that it's on Telegram and that their customer base is probably more used to using WhatsApp. So I don't know exactly how it would work. I may just ask this.
If we wanted to make this work with WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, how would that work? What would need to be set up? Is the current workspace usable on either of those platforms? And try and include any costs as well.
Let's just see what it says. So let's see. You need business verification, a phone number, BSP access. If it's service messages and the user initiates it, it's completely free. Marketing messages are 5 cents. But say 1,000 messages, if they're mostly user initiated, like it would be in this case, $10 a month. So you would replace the Telegram bot API with the Messenger platform API, integrate a Facebook page, set up a webhook, adapt the message format. The app registration could be fairly straightforward. Webhook URL, I'm not really sure what that means in this situation, like
Webhook URL for what?
NLP is built in. See, this is interesting. I feel like this is maybe a more useful thing than having this working on Telegram. Just because people use this. People use Facebook probably more, especially for local businesses. Development time 2 to 3 weeks, $3,000 to $8,000. I'm thinking more like 2 to 3 hours and like $10 in credits on Cursor. So I reckon I could probably get that working pretty simply. I may try and adapt this in another video and get it working on Facebook, just because this would be a really useful thing for a lot of businesses. And it sounds like it's pretty cheap to host and maintain. So yeah, this was a Telegram version. I'm going to look into getting this working for Facebook, and then I'll do a follow-up video where we go through that and sort of follow along the process start to finish like we did here. This isn't supposed to be some polished tutorial, it's more of a watch what I'm doing and then you're going to see what worked, what didn't work. So hopefully this was useful for people who want to try and do this themselves and make it from scratch like that, and make it sort of custom to what they need it for.